Good morning, guys. It's me. It's kind of weird being in New York right now, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you're having a good rest of the week of class. So my sermon, I'm gonna be I'm doing it on my phone next to my computer here, but I was kind of working on is a sermon on Micah 5, 2 through 4. I figured I could just start by reading it. I know also Dan did this as well, so I don't know if he's first or me, but this is what it says. But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days. Therefore he shall give them up until the time when she who is in labor has given birth. Then the rest of his brothers shall return to the people of Israel, and he shall stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. And they shall dwell secure, for now he shall be great to the ends of the earth. I think for me, as I was sort of preparing the sermon, this is going to be like kind of one-shot deal in this aspect that I'm not doing within a series. And for most people who are not as familiar with the prophets, sometimes there's a lot of like background information of like what's going on. So I thought about kind of giving an explanation of a little bit of the historical background of kind of the kingdom being divided into northern and southern, and really Micah being from the area of Judah, and kind of how the Assyrians were coming in, and that there was this possibility that the Assyrians would come all the way to Jerusalem. Basically destroy it all. And this is when Micah is sort of prophesying, and about I think about 100 years later, we have that Babylonian exile coming in, but until then, this is sort of what he's prophesying in. Also, I mean, there was a lot of Judah's economy expanded and shifted from a kind of a barter society, as some of the historical context I was doing, a barter society, to kind of a mercantile society, and money was being traded for goods, and so there's this kind of aspect that when we look at the book of Micah, we're seeing some of the reasons why there's a judgment coming upon them. There's unequal scales happening. There's kind of just abuse in the economical system kind of at the time. There's the worshiping of idols as well, and those kinds of things. And so, like all the other prophets, we kind of have this aspect of judgment, of oracles, and these things coming down upon the people that these prophets are kind of speaking into their lives. And so we kind of see this true with Micah just as much as it is with any of the other prophets that we've looked at this kind of semester. And so I'm kind of having that background, and so looking at this text here, this is a text of hope, where we see the prophesying of something that's going to be happening centuries later with the birth of Christ in Bethlehem. As I started to look, whether in my own reading, kind of looking at historical stuff, but also in commentaries, and kind of seeing, Bethlehem wasn't the biggest place, and even the clan of Ephrathah is a small clan. It's not the big clan. It's not from the major city, and so it's this like little town, just like the song, actually, and this is not where you would expect things. And as I started to kind of think about that phrase, expected, there was this expectation of this covenant, that there was this covenant that has been everlasting. We see God setting up these covenants with Abraham, then we see it with David, and that there will be someone coming who is going to restore. And so there's this expectation of something that's expected to happen, but where is it going to be coming from is the expectation that is sort of unexpected in the way God performs it here. And so as I started to formulate sort of my theme of utilizing this text, it was the expecting the unexpected. So I kind of sort of built on that. When I looked at a couple of the things that I picked up from the language uh, of um, of my text that I wanted to kind of pick up on a little bit, one of them was, definitely this from old, from ancient days. And as I sort of looked into it a little bit myself, there's a couple different ways that this can be translated, and just scroll down to that part. Ancient can be translated as forever or everlasting. And when I started thinking about that, to me, I think everlasting is kind of better, because it shows that aspect of the second person of God, from beginning to end. That not only he was coming to restore, but he was also there before creation. And part of my sermon, I bring it all the way back, in my referencing of the New Testament, and Micah's utilized in the book of Matthew in chapter 2, verse 6. But I kind of look at a couple different spots. One is Luke, because it kind of gives that story of Joseph and Mary going back to Bethlehem. But also in the Gospel of John, where in John 1 we have that epilogue of in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And so, sort of seeing that this is an everlasting God. This is someone who's not going to just be for a specific time speaking just Judah, but it's someone for everybody, to the ends of the earth, in taking his brothers. And so this was an unexpected king boy, who was going to be way more than what they maybe thought was. I could have just imagined, and as I was thinking about this from a homiletical standpoint, what did they want? It kind of reminded me of Saul a little bit, with the aspect of what kind of king do they want? They want a king like Saul, not a king like David. I definitely saw a lot of similarities, and I talked a little bit about, David being from Bethlehem as well, and so we already have this kind of built, king coming from this kind of place before, and from unexpected places similarly. Being a shepherd, being the youngest of his sons, Jesse, being out in the field, where his father didn't even bring him in, because he didn't even think he would be one who was picked by the prophet. And this kind of unexpected sort of king. They wanted someone who was going to be able to go against Assyria, who was going to be able to defeat them, who was going to be a warrior. That's who they kind of wanted, probably, to kind of come in. And isn't that true for us? Isn't that true for us, that we want someone to come in and fix our physical immediate problems, be that kind of king? But a shepherd king is someone who feeds and nurtures and leads, and that's who we see Christ being for them, for us. And so really kind of seeing how bringing people through this kind of aspect, that this prophecy kind of points us in this direction of seeing Christ. And just trying to go back to kind of that theme of expecting sort of that unexpected. And I see this kind of this is a long recording, but Jesus sort of as this shepherd king, who comes to restore us even in our kind of fallenness. Sometimes we have these built-in expectations of what we think life is going to be like, and sort of have, and when it doesn't work out that way, we feel kind of disappointed that it hasn't gone the way we thought it should. But instead we see the shepherd king coming in and bringing salvation, something that we needed, that only he could kind of provide. So that's how I sort of looked at this thing, and kind of looking at it even from the Great Commission, that we have this shepherd king. Even in the midst of his ascension, we see that he will be with us always to the very ends of the earth. And it's kind of seeing that picked up from verse 4. So anyway, yeah, I didn't get a chance to preach this this Advent, but I look forward to next Advent, sort of picking this up, this sermon again, and being able to kind of deliver it to God's people. And so it was good exercise, and it was a really good time. So thanks.